What's going on? We got a special guest appearance. Go ahead and say hello.
Hello.
Okay, what do you want to tell the viewers?
Plot.
Prime time, ride time.
Plot time, my time.
Perfect. Thank you, Evie.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the show. What was it? Specialist Princess, right?
Specialist Princess.
Specialist
yeah.
Princess.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, Evie. Come on, let me sit down.
All right, welcome back to another segment. We got a lot to talk about today. We just had to do a special intro. What are we talking about today?
We're going to actually talk about pharmacy specialists today. So kind of getting a little bit into digging down deep into some of the MOSs that we have. We're going to keep it a lot shorter today than we normally do. Yeah. Typically, we keep it about 30 minutes, but we're going to break it down a little bit shorter so that you get more of what we're trying to talk about, I guess.
15 minutes is the goal.
15 minutes, yeah. If we go over, go ahead and send us some hate mail. I don't know. Appreciate you guys tuning in, first of all. Another exciting segment of our YouTube channel that we're doing.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in because you're curious about what the Army job is, we are recruiters here in Bend, Oregon. So we thought we'd reach out and talk about it. So if you're either looking to possibly see what jobs are out there, or you're like, I want to know what to expect or what the job is, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. We're going to talk about pharmacy specialists today. I know it's a really large field. It's very needed, very useful. I've got a breakdown of the job description itself, as well as some useful information on exactly what credits it breaks down into. Obviously, through basic training, you get some elective credits for like PE and stuff like that. But the actual 68Q MOS, I have a breakdown of all of the separate separate classes that it basically breaks down into. So do you have any information on that?
I do. I was going to do the whole, are you ready to rumble? But
oh, you know what?
I was going to do that stuff.
Yeah, I know we're trying to get a soundboard installed so that we can play some videos or whatever.
Or some sounds.
So
it's more to follow, more to develop. We're getting there. We got the dogs coming in. We got mascots.
Mascots are dogs.
So let me just go into it. Look, if you're looking into it, the requirements are simple. Okay, I'm going to read the requirements first as people want to know. You got to be a citizen or have a green card, which is the I-551 card. If you're into that kind of stuff, that's what we're into that. If you have that, that's kind of their basic requirements. If you have the green card or I-551, the moment you finish basic training, you become a citizen. Okay, so that's a lot of people join the military if they have green cards for that to help get a citizenship. Mm-hmm. The Army does do that. So that's a basic requirement. Okay. There is an age requirement. You have to be at least 17 to 34 years old. Active duty is a little different. It's like 17 to 29, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then it goes into Army Reserves, things like that. High school diploma or GED. We always recommend a high school diploma. It's just kind of easier in the process. But if you have a GED, it's fine. We can help you get there, what you need to do. So that's another big requirement. You have to always pass a criminal background check. We use fingerprints, things like that. If you have a past record, there's different things that come into it for us as recruiters with getting waivers, things like that. But that is kind of something we look at, as well as medical. We don't want to get anyone hurt, so we have to make sure people are healthy. And there's certain things that like, hey, nope, you can't join definite for these reasons. Yep. So that's something your recruiter will help you out with identifying. That's all the basic requirements right there. Sorry, I keep looking over just in case I don't miss anything.
No, that's good. I know we normally do our basic requirements over our list, and we ask a bunch of questions when we're doing our initial interview. And then obviously we like to pick our jobs at the station, and it's reserved for up to 7 days before you even go to MEPS.
Exactly.
So now breaking down 68Q, right? So in a previous segment, we already talked about basic training, so we won't dig into that a whole lot. Although if you do have questions, we will be answering them. So go ahead and post them up on our live stream right now. And if not, that's fine. If you come afterwards and view this content after it's aired live, you can still ask those questions. And we try then, as soon as we really get the notification, we try to go on and answer those questions as best we can.
As quick as possible, really.
So breaking down 68Q specifically, right? It's 23 weeks long. So after your 10 weeks of basic training, you go for another 23 weeks for your 68Q.
It's like Army College.
Yeah, Army College. It prepares, controls, and issues pharmaceutical products, evaluates orders to verify dosages, dosage regime, quantity to be dispensed, assist in preparing patients in an operating room environment for surgery, provide instructions to patients regarding medical consumption and side effects, and perform quality control checks on medication. All right. So that's just the job description itself. Like we've said before, we'll say it again because it's important information to know, is all the training that you receive in the Army actually breaks down to college credits. And I have an Excel spreadsheet that actually breaks down all of the credits that you get for this pharmacy, right? And it breaks down into a total of 26 credits, not including the basic training PE credit that you can get. 26 total credits for 23 weeks of training. By the way, you're still getting paid for all of that, so you don't have to pay anything. You get pharmaceutical therapeutics, pharmaceutical calculations, sterile line products, introduction to pharmacy, institutional pharmacy, pharmaceutical chemistry, clinical inhospitable pharmacy, human anatomy and psychology, and pharmacy clinical practicum. So just those specific classes. Obviously, if you're already looking in this field and trying to get towards that degree, you might know a little bit about that. If you're not sure where you want to go, that breaks that down as far as those college credits that you can receive.
And that's quite a lot. I mean, just for college alone, that's 26 credits of what you need. But on top of that, what else you're getting is the experience. So let me tell you what experiences you're going to learn. You're going to learn, pharmacy laws and regulations. Okay, when you apply to jobs, yeah, it's good to have a degree. But also, if you can say, yo, I know this stuff and I've done it, it kind of gives you that upper edge.
Yep.
So you're going to learn the pharmacy laws and regulations. You're going to learn drug types and usages, so the different types of drugs out there, which we all know is a lot. And you're going to understand the uses and dosages. Of course, you have to always check with a main, what is it, primary tech before approving, but you're assisting them in prepping and things like that.
Well, so the when you go to the doctor and they prescribe something to you, right?
Yep.
The pharmacy specialist actually evaluates to make sure that that's accurate. They find the dosage. They give you basically the warning guidelines to it, and how you're supposed to ingest it, how long you're supposed to do it, just as that second backup towards the doctor who he might have said, oh yeah, you're going to need to take like 50 of these at one time. And then you go to the pharmacy specialist and they're like, oh no, you need to take 25. So
Yeah.
no, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but
But it's just, you're just there to help. Like if you ever gone to a pharmacy, they say, hey, take one of these every 6 hours. That's the kind of knowledge that they're going to be teaching you and that you will know. As finally, you're also going to know how to mixing and dispensing the drugs, of how much goes in each bottle, things like that. So these are all the things you're going to learn at our Army college, along with the college credits that you're going to get. So it's not like you're just going there to kind of chill, get a paycheck. You're actually going to learn and know how to do that job. So when you get out in the civilian world, you already know what you're doing. You're already a top dog.
Very condensed training too. Obviously,
Yes.
we said it's 23 weeks long. So it's very condensed training, very specific training.
But you'll learn on the job as well.
Yeah, and continue to learn throughout your job.
Yeah.
Another website that we use is Army Cool. So if you're
That's a
looking
great
at
website.
getting like federal certificates for specific things, you can check out Army Cool as well. Link will be in the description as we continue to go on forward from this. So if you have any questions and you're like, well, okay, so that sounds really cool. I know I'm going to get those college credits, but what certificates can I get? Well, Army Cool basically breaks down those certificates, the extra training that you can receive on top of what the Army already gives you. And then it kind of like breaks down how it's paid for, whether it's paid through the GI Bill, whether it's like a third party, because you're in the Army, they like to pay because they know that you're specifically trained on certain things, that you're more than likely going to pass, and they look for the specific training that you've already received. So that's what it breaks it down into. There's also chili peppers. So so those are like the hot ticket. These are what people normally look for. So if you go to Army Cool and you go basically to the MOS that you're looking at, and then you look at their chili peppers because it's hot, right? You can see what people are trying to get in this specific field. So really cool information.
Yeah, most common things like that. That's basically the job description and what the information is by the book definition. Of course, there's signing bonuses up to $40,000 for these jobs. You're going to be used. Let's give an example. When there's a major catastrophe or a major epidemic, they might ask you to assist the civilian population. Hey, we need you to work in these hospitals.
Yep.
In my mind, life is all networking. That gives you that chance to get to know the community, get to talk to other doctors, other people, to help better either yourself with your learning your job, or just see what's out there for you. And these are the things that people look at. Hey, you were a soldier. You did this job. That's outstanding. You have this much education. These are the things that, again, the toolbox, we talked about it.
Yeah.
It's going to make your toolbox filled, and you'll need to fill it up. So that's kind of a great thing. We have been doing a couple videos on medical. We're going to expand over time.
Yeah.
But we wanted to hit on this today because these are common ones with the situation that's happening in today's day. So
Well, so it's kind of talking about that a little bit. We try to steer clear of talking about specific things, but
Yeah.
But something that's going on right now is obviously COVID-19. One thing that the Army is doing currently is a lot of humanitarian aid, and this is just one
but
instance.
that's what we're all about too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's humanitarian aid.
So this is one instance of where we're helping out the community. Obviously, we have our medical staff on hand who's trying to develop different treatments for it, staffing hospitals to help plus them up, treating our own as well. But the Army Corps of Engineers is another thing that they're doing right now. They're building several hospitals and medical facilities, but this isn't the only thing that they do. It's not just because of this specific instance. There are several different cases of humanitarian aid where we go out, Army Corps of Engineers will build, you have medical treatment facilities that help treat injured, wounded, sick, anything like that.
It's for the better success of life.
Yes.
That's what we're there for.
And this kind of job, obviously medical is huge, is something that is utilized often to help communities around the United States as well as abroad. So, I mean, a couple years ago, there was a huge earthquake that happened in Nepal, right? And I know that our unit was actually getting ready to go do humanitarian aid for that. And we ended up not going because they didn't need us specifically. But we were getting ready to do that, right? So that's one portion of what we were doing, right? We still gear up for a lot of other things, for training, team building exercises, like I talked about in the earlier segment. Pacific Pathways was team building, but the Army as a whole is designed to help enrich and better communities. And so that's one thing for you guys. It's another tool in your tool belt. If you're worried that you're going to go out there and go to war, that's not the only thing that we do. All right. I kid you not, right? Because we got people in the United States right now. We've got people treating citizens, people looking for a cure, people doing all this other stuff for one instance. Now you look at how long the Army's been around and how much we've grown since then. It's just blown up, and we've been doing a whole lot of good for communities. And that's something that you can help with as well. So join the team that makes a difference.
Yeah, have some pride, proud to be an American. Serve your country, do your 3 years, your 4 years, get these free benefits, free college, have fun, live and learn.
And that's
it's out there.
So I've been doing pretty much every segment. I've been trying to at least include sort of the Medal of Honor recipient to have those the history and culture enrichment.
Yeah, because people need to be reminded of that.
Something that I'll probably do in the future is, just because the Medal of Honor is based on sort of a combat sort of related thing, there are other things that I'm going to be dipping into, because although there are plenty of Medal of Honor recipients, there are people who have done other things that got them awards, such as the second highest award for valor, which is the Distinguished Service Cross. We can start dipping into those, and instead of Sergeant Bolivia, or was that his name?
Yeah.
Bolivia, right? I talked about him last segment. We talked about him saving, basically his entire squad, and ultimately led to the success of the mission that he was in. There are people out there who are doing other things, like, in World War II, there was a boiler that was going to explode, and one guy specifically, I did a brief on him when I was in training. He stayed and was able to keep the boiler from exploding until everybody had evacuated. And he lost his life, unfortunately. He was able to make it out, but he had severe burns all over his body.
Yeah.
But he led to basically his entire ship getting saved from this boiler explosion. So it's just kind of like one thing. So we'll dip into a little bit more of sort of the Army as a whole. But that's one thing that I like to do, is those.
I mean, it's true, because at the end of the day, you can't have these primary source soldiers without the support.
Yeah.
Their equipment, their medical aid, their whatever the case is. You can't have your frontline people without the people that support them to make their mission work.
Exactly.
It's all working in conjunction of each other. And that's why this is very important. And this is probably one of the biggest jobs we get reached out to. We have a lot of people with PhDs applying to them. So we have to filter them to the Army Medical Corps, things like that. Pharmaceutical tech is amazing. It's a great position. It's a great learning experience. So if you're interested in the medical field and you want to advance, but you're like, I don't know how, I don't have a job, I don't have this or that, we can help you. I know the stigma is, I have to join the Army. Yes, but is it that bad? It's not, because you're doing the same job as anyone else's. Instead of just maybe a white coat, you're in a uniform, but you're getting everything free. You're not paying. So there's a lot of great resources. We talked about the requirements. We talked about the description and what the job entails, and it filters to any hospital. So we're on our 15-minute mark. I don't want to exceed anymore. Do you have any closing comments?
Just if you have anything that you want to reach out to us, obviously we leave our contact information. It's all over Facebook. We'll start leaving
Our Instagrams.
our Instagrams, our Snapchats,
Twitters.
our Twitters. We have everything. So obviously we're at our 15-minute mark. We said we were going to cut it off. We've been talking really fast and trying to get this information out.
We got these new mics though, so we're good.
So we've been working all morning to try to get both of these mics to work, and I
Yeah.
think they are working, so that should be good. But I have nothing else.
Appreciate the people tuning in. I see you guys out there. Thank you. We'll be back. We're going to make a lot more videos for all the 150 jobs. So thank everybody. Spread the word. Let them know. I'm sorry, Ryan. That's the end of this message.